Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, it is the grandest party of them all, Season 26. And in today's video, we're utilizing Shanks vs. Kid, and more specifically, we're utilizing the Kid variant of this verse character. Now, with today's video, it is day one, so obviously we have a lot of leeway, but we're going to be taking on some bigger teams. Now, Kid as a leader buffs strength, int, shooters, and driven. Now, there's a lot of very good characters that fall underneath those tags. Plus, he has a very interesting burst ability. All you need to do is pop 6 specials, and you're pretty much good to go. These are the teams we're going to be rocking with. We're rocking, obviously, int, probably the best team in the game. We have strength because there's a lot of shooters on it, and then we're actually running the shooter team itself because we want to rock Kid. Now, taking on Gear 5, Side Gear 5 to start it off with. Side Gear 5 is still very, very good, but look, at the end of the day, I think int Gear 5 as well as versus Kaido are probably still the best leaders in the game. I did some playing around today with the new PvP units and int Gear 5, and look, int Gear 5, he just still does absolute wonders. He's still very, very scary to go up against. We will take him on in today's video as well, but just be very mindful, like, you do want to try and avoid him at all costs. Side Gear 5, 6+, is now very beatable, but like, he should be. The character's well over a year old, had so much power creep since then, and look, like I said, you just should be able to take him down. So we're going to start it off with our shooter team. Shooters are very, very good. And definitely one that I'd want to take into the Grand Party season, with obviously Kid being a shooter-based character and a shooter booster. You can run some really nice characters that are both strength, being Raizo Shinobu. And then you can use some, and obviously Kid himself. And then you just basically want to fill out the rest of the team. Now, I am bringing Uta, Esper, and Frankie with the little cheeky Usopp strat that we always like to do. We can get Frankie to go in the first 30 seconds very, very easily. You need him to go in the first 40 seconds, basically. If he doesn't, then you are losing out on a lot of extra damage. You're losing out on a lot of defensive drops, so you definitely want him going very, very quickly. Esper, his force out mechanic's great. The cooldown reductions that Raizo Shinobu uses is awesome. And then Uta can speed up your specials. The team works very, very well. And taking on Sai teams, Sai's very good. It has a lot of potential with Esper and Saul, and then using stuff like Enel. But, yeah, it's just not exactly... I don't get too terrified when I see Sai. So, taking it on with shooters was definitely a very easy play. But we obviously still have to be very careful of that Gear 5 burst, because if the Gear 5 burst goes, they can still easily wipe our team very, very easily. And they move very, very quickly, Sai. So they can actually build up that burst pretty quickly. Now, Kid's burst can be used in 2 different ways. He does a defense drop, which is pretty strong, and then he does a bunch of damage. But in the last 40 seconds, he actually does a fixed 6,000 damage to all enemies. So you can utilize this in the way of utilizing at the start of the fight to just get a defense drop and then do the 5 times damage. Or you can use it at the back end of a fight and sort of just clutch out a win with the extra 6k fixed damage. But nonetheless, the burst ability... it's not too amazing. It's not like game-breaking like int Gear 5. It's not like demolishing as what Dex Kaido is doing, and it's not board-wiping like what Gear 5 6+ can do. So, shooters managed to get the win there. We obviously have a lot of depth on our bench, with Kid being a bench character. So, pretty simple if we do lose characters, and obviously we do want to lose that Usopp very quickly, so that way we can have Kid come in. On to the second fight. We are going to take on Strength with Gear 5, or Strength Luffy. Int is very, very good. And definitely a strength that Kid has, being a driven booster as well as an int booster. So this team gets very nice buffs under S-Hawk and Blackbeard being driven characters. And then obviously just int being disgusting as it is, getting a full buff from Kid's leader as well. Now, this fight actually was ridiculous. I got probably some of the worst RNG I've ever seen in my entire life, because there is a PvP rare recruit that nobody uses in Kobe. Not the anniversary exclusive Kobe that most people would run on their strength team, but the PvP rare recruits that has the ability to 100% chance, 100% charge a team member's special. And lo and behold, with this particular fight, he went and charged Luffy special. Luffy hit us twice, and if anniversary Luffy hits you twice, it's basically over. On top of that, we had to deal with a bloody Kuma shot super early in the fight as well, which was kind of crazy. So that was pretty ridiculous. So Kobe came in. Luffy actually goes right there after Blackbeard. Actually, no, he jumped the queue. That's right. He jumped the queue, so that way he went very quickly. Unfortunately, I didn't have any of my specials ready, and he just hit me for disgusting amounts of damage. He just, well, he didn't actually hit there. When does he hit? Was it this fight? Yeah, it was definitely this fight. Yeah, 100% this fight. Yeah, definitely. Definitely this fight. So I'm pretty sure that my Luffy doesn't kill everyone. Yeah. Oh, maybe it's not this fight. Okay. Well, we move. There's definitely a fight in here somewhere where the Kobe rare recruit fully charges Luffy, and then we just get absolutely demolished. It's crazy. We actually get hit. Oh yeah, we know. I think we still lose this fight anyway because of Luffy. So, yeah, we still do. So, it is what it is. Sometimes it's gonna be like that. And look, as I said at the start, Gear 5, 6+, he's still a formidable character. He's just not like... That's the shield just like protected the death shot there. He's not one that you can kind of bank on a guaranteed win anymore. So, strength, they're getting super buffed this season. Obviously, Powerhouse getting buffed, Strength getting buffed. They all work out very, very nicely. Alright, so the final fight is against Dex. And the Dex team's definitely evolved a lot more from what we see here. So, this was just kind of a bit of a whitewash. Obviously, with the new Pizarro and Sanjuan Wolf, Dex is very, very good. Driven Powerhouse have got just disgusting buffs. I will do a showcase on them a little bit later, once I get a little bit more time under my belt, but time is of the essence lately. So I'll showcase what that looks like. I did put out, obviously, a testing PvP grand party sort of run with them after I pulled them. And they are very, 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 very good. But Dex have just had buff after buff after buff. Whether or not you run the shooter variant of the Dex team, whether you run the driven Powerhouse variant, you're going to have great success across the board. And obviously in this particular season, Powerhouse characters are getting ridiculous buffs as well. So you can do some really, really nice stuff with them. And I'll definitely showcase them a little bit later down the line. Once we hit sort of like day 4, day 5 under Kaido and into Luffy and stuff like that. As they are just demolition machines. But when you are versing Dex with Strength, it's not a sure thing anymore because of those characters I just mentioned. However, if you have Blackbeard, he obviously helps out a lot, and then you can do some crazy stuff if Luffy just goes. So, basically, we just easy cakewalk this fight. Wasn't too terrifying at all. Plus, the enemy had already utilized both their bursts. So, if you go up against a leader that doesn't have a burst, you're obviously going to be in a much, much better position. So, Kid there doing 12,000 damage on his special, which is actually pretty good. Winning us the fight there, making it nice and smooth. So that was the first fight, first win for us in Season 26. Thank you so much, Flare Star Noopy. Let's move on to the second fight now. And the second fight is against Sneaky Raccoon. Now, this guy, obviously utilizing Int Gear 5, makes it very challenging to go in confidently. But I thought, hey, we've got an infinite retry, so we may as well just try now. I went up against the first... the first team with my shooter team, and sort of just spaced on the fact that I have 2 side characters here, and the enemy's running you Rogue, Apu, and Konus. So very challenging front line when we are running Sai against Int, but we're not running a full team of that. So these characters are getting heavily nerfed. Esper would normally go right about now, but it's obviously getting a lot of CD reduction, or sort of CD blockage. So it is what it is. Rise of Shinobu is going to give us some really good CD back though, which is awesome. And again, you really need to make sure Frankie goes in the first 40 seconds. Otherwise, this team is not going to flow as smoothly as it would. If you guys don't have Frankie, obviously like Fujikizaru is a pretty good shout in the front. You could obviously just move Ace into the front line there, make it more Sai-centric. But shooters have just got lots and lots of options nowadays, which is really, really cool to see. Shooters are very, very good. They're also getting very, very big buffs this season as well, and you can also do some pretty fun stuff with obviously deck shooters as well, being like Ace and whatnot. So Pooh's going to basically kill Uta and Esper. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to utilize Uta and Esper this fight, but it's okay. I'm pretty sure we actually lose this, I think. I can't really remember. I recorded these a little while ago as I was sort of doing stuff, but a Rogue, not going to hit anyone. The downside to running a Rogue, if you're not versing Sai, he's basically useless. Unfortunately, we didn't get any action binding off there. Frankie's going to do some good damage, but now we're going to have to deal with the Luffy burst. And I find that whenever you're versing like an AI Luffy, he always has a tendency to spam it like as soon as they get it. It's super annoying. then you have to deal with something like this. Like, it's just not a fun time. I actually think that I use my special here because I wanted to try and get the kid special in the video. But unfortunately, it just didn't work out in our favor. Having to deal with the Luffy burst though, man. Like, there's not too much we can do there. We actually killed Bonnie and Konus with that shot, which is pretty cool. But then, for some reason, I think Yamato jumps Kid, in the queue, and then unfortunately Yamato just binks out Kid there. I really wanted to try and get Kid's shot in the last 40 seconds, but unfortunately it just wasn't meant to be. In hindsight, I probably should have saved that special, and then I could have gone into the later fights with 2 specials. But here we are. We move. Second fight, though, we are running our in-team, and I believe the enemy's using Slashes. Slashes get absolutely devoured by the new Blackbeard. Absolutely devoured. The in-team can sort of just go in and just nerf the crap out of so many different teams. And Slashes is definitely one that struggle a lot. But, obviously, the enemy has a GP burst. And they do take our team down to the wire. It does take us... They do take us down a little bit. Not enough to warrant it to be super scary, but it was not exactly the best time. So Slashes are still great GP teams, but obviously once you're using int, you can do some pretty fun stuff. So we do have Blackbeard special ready to go. Blackbeard's going to roll back some specials. Bonnie manages to creep her way into the front first. Perfect way to stop S-Hawk right there, and then we can use Blackbeard to stop S-Hawk even more. Actually, I don't think he hits... Yeah, no, he did hit S-Hawk. That's it. Our S-Hawk's going to go to big damage. Problem is, the more damage we do, the more burst charge they get. Now, Zoro Sanji going there was just like prime time for them because they were so close to charging all their specials that now they're going to get haste and they're just going to send us to an absolute realm. At this point, we just need to pray that the enemy doesn't use that burst. They're obviously already up 1-0, so that's going to help them out. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Alright. Oh, okay. We tanked that fairly nicely. There's a lot of damage, but we still tanked that. The force down mechanic is going to be a little bit of a problem, but it shouldn't be too bad once those characters come back in. We can now force out on our own. And Roger and Wipe is definitely going to be super scary. So we've got to be... Yeah, they okay. Wow. Ugh. Yeah, that's not good. I mean, Blackbeard survived, which is great because he had a special, like, literally as we lost the other 2 units, but we need our Bonnie and Yamato to come back in, which they should right now. Beauty. And then from here, I'm pretty sure we're smooth sailing. In-team is just ridiculously strong right now. Yamato's just such a fun character. Bonnie is a fantastic addition with her 6+, and then you have such a strong bench with the Giants. You can run your Rogue. You can run any other like powerhouse in character really, or just any powerhouse character in general. You could definitely run Pell there. Probably should run Pell. Pell's definitely a very good powerhouse character, especially with this level limit rate. Remember this part of the fight just went like forever. I think the damage over time from Blackbeard just starts popping off units now. Joy Brogy. Skip the rest of that. Beautiful stuff. Awesome. Alright, so we get the dub there. Now we're going into the final fight with no enemy burst. Now, that's the power of int. They can sort of tank a Gear 5 burst and then move into the final fight with a burst. With their own burst. So, that's going to be real fun. And the final team is once again Sai. So, obviously running strength puts us in a really good spot. Big buffs this season. 34 HP is pretty monstrous. We would probably be able to tank a burst with this team as well, actually. Downside is we're versing 1 Allure, so we are losing a lot of speed for Blackbeard and Luffy. But at the end of the day, not too shabby. Not too shabby. They are going to go much faster than we are because of 1 Allure. And as long as Odin doesn't action bind the crap out of us, we should be okay. Luffy's not going to be ready to go. But once Kobe sort of kicks in, we're going to be fine. No action bind, which is awesome. Let me know what you guys like to run when it comes to Sai in the comment section below as well. I find that Sai they're just such a strange team, man. Like, they can work so well, they can also just be so fickle. Alright, losing Blackbeard that early is not ideal, but now that we have Kuma, obviously we just increase our damage. Now, I think ideally with this fight, I was trying to sort of hold out with Kid to make sure I could get to the last 40 seconds and use his special to try and get the fixed damage in the video, but I think I just sort of spaced and I used it anyway. I think I use it... No, I think I use it a little bit later to try and get Ace a little bit more damage. Kuma's such a fantastic bench unit now, man. 20 cost for what Kuma does is crazy. I think I just use it here because I just want to like make it faster. Oh yeah, I do. But then I remember. So I use it here. Use the burst. Real good damage. Level 7 defense drop is great. But obviously Luffy has a revive, so that kind of sucked. But these fights were kind of... This fight was just kind of like whatever. After the enemy using both their bursts, Int Gear 5 becomes obviously a lot less scary. The big scary part about the character is the fact that they just spam bursts, and obviously you have to deal damage. Sorry, you have to take damage as Int Gear 5 rather than deal damage. So when you're versing Int Gear 5, you're basically going to have to deal with the burst no matter what. When you're fighting Side Gear 5, it's pretty easy to block his burst. But I do find every time I verse Int Gear 5, I'm just having to sort of find ways to tank the burst. Because it just hits way too hard. But final fight is against Ego Zoka from Gherkin Troop, I believe. Very big bopper of a team. Starting off with strength. We're going to start off with Int because Int is just phenomenal at eating pretty much everything. Unless we get like bursted very quickly. But we can obviously tank a burst as we saw in the last fight. So I decided to start with Int just to sort of get a win and then use strength as more of like a sacrificial team as the second fight. And then move into the final fight with my shooters to take down, I believe the final fight was meant to be Sai, but we got really lucky in the second fight, and we managed to do some pretty cool stuff, but you guys will see that once we get there. As for now, we're going to use Blackbeard's amazing capabilities to sort of just tear through the meta, and he just does absolute bits to enemy CD reduction as well as damage over time. I think we get pretty lucky here with Kobe. Kobe doesn't give anyone haste. Yeah. Very lucky there with Kobe. If Kobe gave like Luffy haste, we would have been in for a really bad time. And because of that, we had Bonnie go, stop the enemy specials, and then we did something like this. So very, very good luck in this first fight as well. Could have very easily taken a Luffy special there, which would have been very, very bad for us. Would have been big damage. I think we tank the burst now. If I remember correctly, we do have to deal with the burst. Yeah, there it is. But, like I said, in 37 HP, you can pretty much tank a lot. Downside is when you lose 4-star characters, you lose the HP buff. So, as you can see, like we went down from 34 to 25 HP. Just nuts. So, damage over time from Blackbeard now is basically going to do its thing. And we're going to move into the second fight comfortably after taking a burst. And... doing some really good things. Alright, if Luffy would die, that'd be great. This poor motherfucker's just like sitting with like taking 17,000 from S-Hawk. Alright, beautiful. Alright, the next fight we are using strength, and like I said, I was looking at utilizing my shooter team here, but then I saw and was like, well, hang on, I learned my mistake. Like I learned from my mistake putting my shooters there. So let's just change that up a little bit. And let's use strength now. I think I hit a point where I basically just accepted the L in this fight. And I hit the skip button. And Akainu off the bench just comes in and does some crazy ass things. So I do apologize that this particular fight doesn't exactly last that long. And I do apologize that I'm doing like pre-recorded stuff with voiceovers. Obviously with the new baby, it does make it a little bit hard to sort of sit down and guarantee a recording. That is fluent and makes a lot of sense. But overall, look, Kid definitely wasn't a bad leader. He has great options for teams. He boosts great classes and he boosts great colors for Grand Party. His burst is very easy to get, which is a great condition. However, his burst itself really doesn't do all that much for the team. Like, it's great defense drop, it's great damage, but Dex is really the only team that thrives under defensive drops, which you can definitely run under Kid. You can do some fun stuff with like Driven Powerhouse decks. But in saying that as well, like the burst ability, you just want it to be game changing rather than just like a little bit of a help. So as you can see there, we did our burst. It was a little bit of a help for our team where the Int Gear 5 uses his burst and just basically almost arse blasts us into oblivion. So it's much of a muchness really if the burst isn't on the level of some of these big characters like Int Gear 5 and Psy Gear 5 and Kaido. But all in all, like I said, Kid's definitely not a bad character. He's just not an exceptional character. So there you guys go. As you can see, we managed to get the win there. Very, very strange. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, build the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Good!